Alrighty. It has been probably a good week and a half since I've been on this space making a long form video. To be completely honest, over the last couple of weeks, content has been a little slower than previous months. But as I sort of warned you guys, like, it is sort of a busy period and there's a lot of stuff going on, and having the time to come and sit here and talk hoops and do all that sort of stuff, I sort of don't get to do a ton of these days. But I'm still making it work. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. Short form content has been coming out in sort of smaller bursts. There obviously hasn't been as much. There was days sort of during November and that I was doing 2 a day. But that's obviously not realistic every day for a guy that's doing everything that's going on. But the biggest news for today, and the reason for this video, is that the All-Star starters were announced today. I think the voting for the All-Star game started about 6 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah, confirmation was made today of the people who will be getting the start. Obviously, there is a couple of names that are left off the list, which, to be honest, some people expected, some people think they were robbed. There's always speculation with the All-Star game. I don't think there has ever been an All-Star team that someone has said, what about this person? What about that person? Like, they're never going to get it fully right. And to be honest, I think if every person that deserved an All-Star nod got on the team, there'd be like 20 people on both rosters. So, unfortunately, that's just how it works sometimes, how it just falls into place that way. Obviously, the biggest thing about the All-Star game this year is the Team USA versus Team World. Has been talked about so far this season. That's how the structure is going to go down in LA this year. It's going to be 3 different teams. I think it's 2 US teams and 1 world team. And from what I've seen from the All-Star starters this year, there is quite a big discrepancy, and we will get into that in a moment. Because of positionless basketball and the way that we're going with the starters and all the reserves that will come out soon, there is no locked positions. Obviously, 10 years ago with the All-Star game and whatnot, there was a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. If you were the best in that position, you would make the All-Star starters. Say you were the best power forward in the league, but you weren't as good as the second best small forward in the league, you would still make the starting team because you are a power forward. The NBA has obviously moved away from that in the last couple of years, whether it's been All-NBA nods, All-Star nods, just everything in general to do with the voting and all of that sort of stuff, just to not have as much discrepancy in the voting. With that being said, we've got the 2 teams. So the Eastern All-Star starters that we've got for this year are Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously deserving of it year in and year out. He's played really well this year, other than the couple of weeks that he missed with that knee injury. Playing with trade rumors floating around for Giannis here, there, and everywhere. He's going to stay consistent as a basketball player, regardless of what the talk behind the scenes is about. No matter how much the Bucks are struggling, obviously the Bucks haven't had an amazing year this year. Far from what they would have liked. They haven't got as much production out of guys like Miles Turner as they probably were hoping for so far. And yeah, Giannis has been by far the bright spot on that team, and more than deserving of the nod. Another guy that has been far and away the best player on his team, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is damn near in all MVP talks. And the way that the league is going and the 65 game rule, and every single NBA star has missed time so far this year, it feels like, except Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is probably the only one out of the top 6 best players in the league that is going to hit that 65 game marker. And the way that it's going, if all of that, like Luka is threatening to miss the 65 games, Nikola Jokic, Giannis is threatening to miss it because of the knee. All of these top guys that will go in for the MVP year in and year out, they might miss it this year. And that leaves the door open for someone like Jaylen Brown, who, in the absence of Jason Tatum so far this season, has been playing ridiculously good basketball and has kept the Celtics a lot more relevant than I expected them to be. Obviously, a lot of factors go into it. Like, for the Celtics, there has been a lot of different players come in and impact winning so far this year. But Jaylen Brown has been the top player for them by a mile and is more than deserving of the nod. Next up is Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson has been... In terms of Jalen Brunson's production so far this year, has been slightly more quiet than recent years, but is more deserving of the nod. The New York Knicks have been one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, have been struggling in the last week and a half trying to get wins. They've had a couple of bad losses. They lost just today against the Dallas Mavericks. A couple of bad losses coming their way, but without Jalen Brunson, they look a whole lot different as a franchise, as a team, as sort of an everything. So, Jalen Brunson more deserving of the nod. Tyrese Maxey, another one, first-time All-Star, or not first-time All-Star, but first-time All-Star starter, I should say. Tyrese Maxey, in a situation that they have in Philadelphia right now, has been the brightest spot in the league, probably. Because Paul George has barely been healthy. Joel Embiid has been, ever since he's come back from his knees and back and legs and everything going on with Joel Embiid, he has been half the player that we've expected from Joel Embiid. And Tyrese Maxey has come out and averaged 30-odd points per game. He's leading the team in assists. He's just doing absolutely everything for the roster. And he's keeping the 76ers relevant. Without Tyrese Maxey, this team is probably one of the worst teams in basketball, to be completely honest. Joel Embiid has, been on and off and on and off. It was to the point where I had Andre Drummond in my fantasy for some time because Joel Embiid was missing so much time that there was other players just coming out of nowhere and having to try and fill that void for him. And ever since he's come back, he's getting the same sort of minutes and the same sort of court time. But his production from his MVP season 3 years ago has been completely different. It has been way down. His efficiency, his scoring, just everything for Joel Embiid. The only bright spot that I can sort of give Joel Embiid this year is his defense has looked somewhat better. He is actually trying to stay in front of people. He's trying to get back on defense and block shots. But yeah, that's enough about Joel Embiid. He's not on the top 5 for this roster. Tyrese Maxey is, and Tyrese Maxey is well deserving of the shout. The last Eastern Conference starter is the point guard of the best team in basketball so far. I would argue the best team in basketball. Obviously, OKC Thunder has had a couple of rough sort of weeks. There's been sort of some questions floating around with them. The Detroit Pistons don't have as good of a record so far, but as far as rosters go, I think they're really deep, and they continue to prove people wrong. Cade Cunningham is that player. He fills out the 5 for the Eastern Conference. Cade Cunningham has been the best player on the best team in the East. It's as simple as that. He is having a career year so far, scoring the ball, assisting the ball. I still remember he took 45 shots in a basketball game against the Wizards a few months back. He's the leader of that team, and he is more than deserving of his first All-Star start. Yeah, that's all the Eastern Conference players. And without further ado, moving on to the Western Conference, we have 5 players. Obviously, probably the expected 5. The only one that would get an honourable mention is Anthony Edwards. It says in the reports and all of that sort of stuff that Anthony Edwards was just done out on a tiebreaker. I'm honestly not too sure what a tiebreaker is and how that would work out and everything else, but Anthony Edwards just misses out and Victor Wembanyama gets his spot. I agree to Victor Wembanyama to some degree, but my only thing with Vic is I feel like he has missed a lot of basketball so far this season. Obviously, he played the first few weeks, looked unreal, looked ridiculous, was playing Victor Wembanyama type basketball, But then he went out, missed a few weeks, come back for a couple, missed another couple, and he's just gone in and out of the rotation. When he's come back, he's played 20 minutes off the bench, hasn't been majorly productive. Whereas Anthony Edwards has been productive all year. He's barely missed a game. He's sat out maybe 2 games so far this season. That's my only question with Wembanyama, is if he played the entire first half of this season, I would give him the nod without a doubt. I just think he's missed a lot of time and hasn't been playing that very many minutes, and that was the only case that I'd sort of have against Vic. Otherwise, best player on his team by a long margin, deserves the spot, first time All-Star starter. There will be plenty more to come in Victor Wembanyama's career, I have no doubt in my mind, but for right now, this is his first one and is more than deserving of the fact. The next player is Stephen Curry, Golden State's very own, 37 years old and still going. There's nothing really else I can say. His box office, as far as entertainment goes, Steph Curry is the pinnacle of basketball entertainment. He's always fun in an All-Star game. Obviously, the reason for Steph Curry ruining the All-Star game is that the fact that everyone's now pulling up from half court and doing the things that Steph Curry does. And that's half the reason the All-Star game is what it is at the moment. But, yeah, Steph Curry more than deserving of the role. He's been the best player on an otherwise very up and down Golden State Warriors team. There's moments where we've looked really good as a team, and then there's moments where the Warriors have looked like the worst team in basketball. And it, at no point, has been at the fault of Stephen Curry. Because he's come out, he's consistent every night, scoring 40 points, I think, at a guess off the top of my head, maybe 6 times already this season, as a 37-year-old guard. And he just continues to amaze people, continues to play at the absolute highest level, and is more than deserving of this All-Star nod. Next on the list, without probably a surprise, leading the league in scoring, has missed only a few games here and there so far this season. The Lakers started off very hot. The Lakers started off as the second best team in the Western Conference. And in the last couple of weeks, they have let go of that rope dramatically. I think there's something like 5-5 in their last 10. They're suffering at the moment, but Luka Doncic is still the best player on that roster by an absolute mile. If he continues to play as many games as he's expected to play, we'll probably be up there for the MVP. Obviously, Nikola Jokic and Giannis both missing out for that MVP nod. Luka probably, if there is ever a time for Luka to win the MVP, it will be this year. There's nothing really you can say about him. He just scores the basketball at a ridiculously high level. He's a gifted passer, makes DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes look like borderline all-stars, putting them in their right positions, getting them easy buckets time and time again. One of the better rebounding guards in basketball. He's just the complete package. And the fact that still to this day, saying Luka Doncic, Los Angeles Lakers, is an absolute headache in itself, but it is what it is. He's more deserving of it. Nikola Jokic is another one. Nikola Jokic is the center for the Western Conference. He is the one and only center on this entire, 10 starters, whether you want to classify Wembanyama as a center or a power forward. That's completely up to you. Some people would probably put Victor Wembanyama as a power forward because he just moves and goes wherever he wants and shoots threes. And so, one of two centers or one of one centers, however you want to describe it. Nikola Jokic, you don't really need to describe Nikola Jokic's production. It speaks for itself. He's averaging damn near a triple-double. The Denver Nuggets without Nikola Jokic have looked pretty lost. Obviously, they've pulled out a couple of great wins in his absence, but at the same time, it can only go on for so long. I think they got blew out by the Charlotte Hornets yesterday, and they're missing a lot of guys. Jamal Murray obviously will probably be missing Nikola Jokic more than anyone. But yeah, Nikola Jokic was always going to be in this roster. And the same for the last guy on this list, who is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Best player on the best team in the Western Conference. One of the best scorers in the league. There's just so many things to describe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Gets to his spot every time. Is built around, there is a perfect roster built around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with Cason Wallace and Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, and just he has the perfect roster around him to blossom into the player he has become. Because Lord only knows he was traded for 5 first-round picks and Paul George. Yeah. How 5 first-round picks came with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for an aging Paul George is ridiculous to me to this day. Obviously, Paul George had his best season ever while he was at that year in OKC. But 5 first-round picks and getting a future MVP just blows my mind. It's ridiculous. Like, he continues to absolutely awe people. I never take watching him for granted. Obviously, there's a lot of question marks from a lot of NBA critics about the way that he scores and how he gets to his spots. We can argue back and forth about it all day, every day, but I think he's just a talented scorer. If foul baiting wasn't a part of the game, then it wouldn't be in the game. By the letter of the law, it's a foul. He shoots free throws. That's all I have to say about it. That's the 10 players. And the only other thing that I sort of want to get into is with these 10 players, if you really break it down, you have, if we're playing by this Team USA versus Team World format, the rosters are as is. The Team USA team will be Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, and Stephen Curry. And I'm no expert, but I reckon that team has a average height of about 6'5". And then you go over to what will be the Team World lineup, and it is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it is Giannis Antetokounmpo, it is Luka Doncic, it is Nikola Jokic, and it is Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, that team has an average height of about 6'11". In this theoretical situation, Victor Wembanyama will be getting guarded by Cade Cunningham. Yeah, that's not going to work. I looked at this, and when I really broke it down and the way that the Team World versus Team USA thing is going to go down, we're going to have 2 legitimate 7-footers on the Team World. And when it comes to Team USA, Steph Curry is going to have to check Nikola Jokic in the half court. And if we're playing actual basketball, it's just not going to work. I'm going to have Victor Wembanyama throwing little lob passes into Nikola Jokic, who's just going to back down Steph Curry to a baby hook, and it's a free 2 points. I just don't know how it's going to work. There better be some height on the reserves for Team USA, or it might be a bit ugly. Obviously, there's a lot of speed on this USA roster with Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Brunson. Those guys can get their heads down and get downhill. But I just think that is, like, the team is way too big if we're going by this format. It's just going to look so funny and it's so ridiculous. That's just how it's going to go down. That's what's going to happen. Team USA versus Team World. It's going to be a fun one. All guys deserving of the picks. Obviously, Anthony Edwards was the one honourable mention. But these guys are all deserving of the role. That's about it for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. Let me know how you think it's going to go with Victor Wembanyama and Nikola Jokic in the same backcourt, in the same front court against Stephen Curry and Cade Cunningham. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry the content's been slow a bit recently. I've been doing other stuff here, there, and everywhere. I'm continuing with the content 2026. It's going to be a good year for me. It's going to be a good year for the content. I'm going to continue to smash it out. You guys aren't going to miss out. All-Star time is just around the corner. The NBA trade deadline is around the corner. I don't know how much excitement the NBA trade deadline is going to bring us this season, but if there is any at all, I will be covering it. So like and subscribe if you want to see the cover for that. Thank you guys again. Continue to enjoy the short form. Continue to like it up, comment, create conversation with me. I love talking to you guys and, you know, seeing your feedback and your comments and just all those small things. I love seeing it all. Thank you guys so much. I will see you in another few days with another video, hopefully. And I'll see you then. Keep enjoying the hoops, guys. Thank you.